If you haven't been doing any sort of workout within the last year, the last 12 months, this is the time to start. Why? Because you're going to be struggling just like the rest of us. You know why? Because there's going to, most likely, because there's going to be a recession. All right. There's going to be a recession. Everyone's going to be depressed. When you're depressed, on top of not being fit, you're going to have a bad time. So I'm going to tell you why you should start doing pull-ups in 2025 because of the recession. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. I have up here a press release by Apollo Global Management. I'm not an expert, but this is a financial firm that manages assets and finances for companies and for people. And they are a hub of experts that are knowledgeable about the economy, about finances, and about what's going on out there. And this is one of their press releases that they recently put out that shares some of what's going on out there with the big companies and how CEOs are feeling. And they also included a simple projection of what they think is going to happen within the next quarter. So let's go over that. And then I'm going to tie it back to why you should start doing pull-ups in 2025. And I'm going to give you tips on how to do pull-ups. And I'm going to give you reasons why you should do pull-ups. And I'm going to give you insight to my own personal experience about doing pull-ups and how crucial it is to doing pull-ups in 2025. And if you don't do it, you're probably going to die. That's right. It's that serious. All right, let's go. So they included 3 anecdotes from top CEOs of 3 big companies. Let's go over it. The first one is the CEO of Southwest Airlines, and he says, I don't care if you call it a recession or not. In this industry, that's a recession. So this guy's straight up saying, it doesn't matter about labels. It doesn't matter what people are saying. People are calling the current state of the United States economy. This is a freaking recession. All right, that's basically what he's saying. Below that is the CEO of Chipotle, and he's saying, saving money because of concerns around the economy was the overwhelming reason consumers were reducing the frequency of restaurant visits. So he's implying, they're getting less customers. People aren't going to Chipotle. They can't afford the barbacoa, man. The barbacoa is like $13 just for a little bit. You guys are stingy. I can't afford some barbacoa and black beans. I gotta go to the grocery store and make it myself. I'm broke. All right. The next one. The CEO of PepsiCo says, relative to where we were 3 months ago, we probably aren't feeling as good about the consumer now. People are just buying stuff less. All right, PepsiCo owns so many things that you buy at the grocery store. So if they're saying they don't feel so good about the consumer right now, that means people are buying less things at the grocery store. So you got these CEOs giving their insight about the economy, and all things are pointing to not so good. All right, we get it. We all understand that's how most of us feel right now. And it's affecting these companies. All right, let's go down to the timeline. All right, so as of filming this is April 29. They have this first, what do you call it? Like, what do you call it when it's like a crucial moment in time? So Liberation Day tariffs was on April 2nd. And I don't want to go too deep into the whole tariff thing, but basically China had this retaliation because of the Trump tariffs, and then they said, you know what, screw this, we're going to put a tariff on you, we're going to put a tariff on this, and then America was like, we're going to put a tariff on all this shit, and then basically all the imports and goods all fucked up. So basically this is the projection, all right? They think that by next month, May, the container ships will slow down and eventually come to a stop, meaning we're not going to get shit from anywhere. And then by mid-May, late May, trucking demand comes to a halt, because if there's no shipments coming in from other countries, there's nothing for the truckers to do, because the job of the truckers is to import goods from one place to the other. But if there's no goods coming in, then there's no reason to drive, right? So the trucking business, all these truckers, they're probably gonna struggle. First it was the tech jobs, now it's going to be the blue collar jobs, and then eventually we're all just not going to have jobs. All right. So they project that there will be empty shelves, and companies respond to lower sales. So this is all a snowball effect. There's not going to be things to stock up at Target. Target's going to be empty. You're just going to have napkins and hand sanitizer and stuff. You go to Ralph's, there's not going to be avocados. I don't know what items are going to be affected, but they think that the shelves are going to be less stocked than they are now. All right. And then on the square right here, it says by late May, early June, layoffs in the trucking and retail industry. So first, truckers aren't going to have things to do because there's nothing coming in. If there's nothing coming in, there's nothing to manage or take care of at these retail stores. If if you work at Target, but there's nothing if people aren't buying stuff and there's nothing coming in, what are retail workers going to do? Right now you barely have people working at the cash registers. Everything's self-checkout. Like, people have nothing to do. I have nothing to do. Why do you think I'm filming this stupid video? I'm doing nothing. But anyways, let's continue. After, that, it finally ends with the last square, which is the most important. They project that by summer 2025, which is this year, there will be a full-on recession. All right, so that gives you the foundation of basically what your year might look like. I understand everyone's lives is different, but the economy affects everyone. If you're rich, if you're wealthy, middle class, whatever, who cares? You're not watching this video. You're at Coachella. Don't. But if you're like me, if you're like just going on YouTube trying to get an idea of what's going on out there because you're struggling, you just got out of college and you know JavaScript, you know how to build a website, but people are like, go wash some dishes or something. You're probably watching this video. And what I want to motivate people to do is to, you have your personal goals, keep going at it. I don't know what they are. Everyone's different. But what everyone should do in 2025, if you aren't already doing it, is do pull-ups, all right? And the reason why, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was supposed to show you this image of the port in Seattle that validates all of this. This was posted literally 3 days ago. So the ports in Seattle is empty right now. This is visual proof that nothing's coming in. Also, the Los Angeles ports, I believe, are affected too. Los Angeles ports. Yep, here we are. 8 hours ago. Port of Los Angeles, shipping volume plummet 35%. This is real stuff. This is real time. I'm not, this is no conspiracy. Shit's happening. And when all of this is happening, you gotta sort of think, okay, where am I right now? And where are things gonna be by the end of the year? Obviously, the jobs aren't opening up out of nowhere. They're a lot more conservative about who they're hiring, if they're hiring at all. Revenue, money isn't flowing as much. People are freaking out. All these companies are like kind of stingy, and they're treading carefully as everyone is. So what do you do? I'm gonna give you my opinion. When things like this happen, I'm not thinking, oh, I want to buy a new car. I want to invest in a new vacation. I want to travel. All those things cost so much money. But what can you do to still continue to be better and to grow? Because a lot of things to grow does require money. If you want to learn a new skill, if you want to pick up bow hunting, if you want to start racing cars or get into tennis, you want to take classes, all those things are expensive. Those are all great recreational activities that is very expensive. What's not expensive is doing pull-ups. The reason why I focus on pull-ups is because it's a cheap, almost free exercise that anyone could do, whether at home or at the park. You don't need a gym membership. A lot of people assume working out's free, and it is, but there's a limit because a lot of people need to make most of their progress at the gym. But gyms are expensive. For example, I pay like $80 a month for my gym. A lot of people don't have the $80 a month to, just spend on a gym. But with pull-ups, you could either go to a park and find a bar and do pull-ups that way, or if you do manage to save a few dollars, you could go down to CVS or Walgreens, get an Amazon gift card for $40, and you buy this right here. All right, this is less than $30, and it will be the best $28 that you've ever spent in your life. It's a pull-up bar, and not even this brand. It could be anyone. You don't have to. I'm not telling you to buy a specific brand. Just go on Amazon. Look up pull-up bar, something like this, for $25, and that's really all you need. And how this works is you basically put it on your door. You put it on your door frame. All right. You can see some pictures. This is basically how it works. When I was broke, I was like a teenager, even when I was like 18, I didn't have a gym membership. All I had was this pull-up bar, and so all I did was push-ups and pull-ups. And I made most of my newbie gains doing this in that door back there. So yeah, that's all you need. And I think if you haven't been doing pull-ups, this is the time to do it. Here's some benefits of the pull-up. The pull-up, especially if you're a guy, you're going to build up your upper body. It's such a great workout. It's a functional workout because you can use it in your everyday life. If you have to pick something up off a shelf, pull-ups actually do make you stronger, and it works on your stability with your shoulders and your back and your bicep. It's almost a full body workout aside from your legs. So that's why I think it's crucial. But also it makes you more aesthetic. We all work out for many reasons, and one of those reasons is to look better. Well, pull-ups is going to give you wider shoulders. It's going to grow your bicep, and even, your lower lats too, or just your lats in general. So yeah, start doing pull-ups. And again, if you can't afford $25, if you don't have $25 to spare, you could go to a park. I'm sure you have a park or somewhere in public where you could go and hang on a bar and do pull-ups. Trust me, there's enough structures out there in the world that you could find something like that. All right, what else? Oh, yeah, I wanted to give some tips. I typed in tips. That's funny. I meant to type in paint. All right, so real quick, some tips. All right, so there's a recession coming in 2025. If you're not working out, start doing some pull-ups. The reason is because the only thing worse than being broke and struggling to find a job is also being fat, unhealthy, and broke. If you have to choose one of those things, at least be fit and broke. At least being fit, you're a little bit more mentally clear. You're working on yourself every day. And it snowballs to self-development, and you're always improving yourself. It puts you in a better mindset. So stop playing Marvel Rivals. Stop playing League of Legends or whatever you're doing. Cancel that, Xbox subscription or PlayStation Network subscription. And, go buy yourself some pull-up bar. All right? So, here. Pull-up tips, recession edition. All right, here's some quick tips. We're gonna do this real fast. If you're too fat to pull yourself up, if you're not strong enough to pull yourself up, you gotta use a chair. So here, use a chair. So what you want to do? Let me show you. Let me do a demo. All right. Pretend I have a pull-up bar in front of me. All right, this is just you gotta use your imagination because I don't have a setup right now. All right. pull-up bars right here, what you want to do is put your foot here. Like that. Alright? So you want to do the pull-up, and then use your foot to just help assist your body up. You know? So, you saw the way I was using my feet to just, kick myself up. When you're doing a pull-up, all you need to do is put a chair under the pull-up bar, and then you could slowly and control the power to assist yourself up. You don't want to assist yourself up too much, because if you do, you're not going to get a workout in. So you got to control it. And then over time, you got to use less effort or less power. So then you're using more of your upper body. And eventually you want to move away from the chair and just do a pull-up with just your body weight. So first tip is to use a chair to assist your pull-up if you can't do a pull-up. Alright? Second tip is obvious, but I gotta mention it. So using weight makes pull-ups easier. A lot easier. Because pull-up is basically a full body weight exercise, essentially what you're doing is you're pulling your whole body weight upwards against gravity. This means that if you weigh more, a pull-up's going to be more difficult. But the benefit is, depending on your weight, if you weigh just enough to where you could do a pull-up, that's going to be beneficial because you're going to get more resistance and more of a workout. Some people are so lean and they're so light that they could just crank out like so many pull-ups, but it's so easy for them that they're not really developing their strength or their muscle because they're so light. And that's why you see some people, they hang a weight over their waist, or they have to wear like a body vest, like a weighted vest, just because they're so lean that they can't get a workout. But for most people, that's not the case. Most people aren't so lean and, athletic enough to do that. So most people, you're going to struggle with doing pull-ups. So just using your body weight should be enough. And if anything, you're going to be struggling, especially if you're a beginner. So I would say on top of using the chair to assist you in doing pull-ups, if you're really overweight or just not athletic, do the chair. And on top of that, try losing weight. And that, that's just dieting, just eating a little bit better. There's a lot of information out there to eat healthy to lose weight. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Use a chair to help you do pull-ups, but also losing weight will be an extra step in improving your ability to do a pull-up. Alright, number 3. If you're new, alright, close grip pull-ups should be your focus. Alright, if you're new to bodyweight exercises, especially the pull-up, ignore all the crazy variations and all the crazy pull-up videos you see on social media. You see those people that are like doing the CrossFit pull-ups, or what's the thing where they jerk themselves up and then they go down and then they go all the way up, and they do like dips on top and then they drop down and do pull-ups. Cut that out. Don't do that. Alright. Do close grips. Do close grip pull-ups if you are still new. Close grip is simple. It's just this. You hold the bar shoulder width apart, which means like, this arm aligns with your shoulder. This hand aligns with your shoulder. You don't want to be too close. You don't want to be too far. Just like this. And then you pull up. Up here to your chin and then down. The other name for this is close grip chin pull-ups. So remember, it's just your hand goes to your chin. Alright? Like that. That is the default basic pull-up. And I would advise against doing other variation until you get comfortable doing the close grip chin-up pull-up. Because this is the one that I think will grow your arms the most. It's going to give you the most visible progress. And I think as a beginner, visually, if you see change, it will motivate you to keep going. The other variations are like the wide grip, but that's a lot more difficult. And if you can't do close grip, you shouldn't be doing wide at all. Well, if you want to try it, it won't hurt. Just use a chair. But what I'm trying to get at is focus on the basic form first before you worry about the other ones. And I think that's it. It doesn't have to be too complicated, all right? So, I guess if, the overall message of this video that I wanted to get out was life, for most of us, might get a little bit more difficult these upcoming months or this upcoming year. And I just wanted to let people know that being healthier will make things easier to endure, and it will make you stronger as a person. And doing pull-ups might actually put you on a path where all the negativity in terms of the economy and in terms of the financial struggles that we all might see soon bearable. So yeah, do your pull-ups, because in life, especially in 2025, things will pull you down. So start doing pull-ups to be able to pull yourself up when something pulls you down. Damn. All right. Not sure if that made sense, but if you believe it made sense, it will make sense. See you in the next video, and I will show you some pull-ups in some videos in the future. All right.